Good morning, students. Let us continue with the unit entitled Terms and Concepts, unit number 5th. We have studied, we have discussed two terms, paradox and antithesis. Today we are going to study the term satire. The word satire came from the Latin word satire, and the subsequent phrase length satura satur originally meant full, but when added with lengths, it meant miscellany or medley. Satire is a literary device which uses dark humor, irony, and or exaggeration to hold up a mirror to society. It is used to ridicule, scorn, and criticize the ways of a certain time period and people, while pointing out what is inherently wrong with it. Satire is commonly found in genres like comic drama and fiction. Its tone may vary. For example, tolerant amusement in the verse satire of the Roman poet Horace to the directly hostile and utter expiration as in the verses of Juvenal and prose of Jonathan Swift. In his dictionary, Samuel Johnson defined satire as a poem in which wickedness or folly is censored. An example of satire would be Swift's writing. Satire is the sort of glass wherein beholders do generally discover everybody's face but their own, which is the chief reason for that kind of reception it meets in the world, and that so very few are offended with it. Satire can be personal or for a type of person, against a class, institution, nation, or an entire race. For example, Earl of Rochester's A Satire Against Reason and Mankind, or Jonathan Swift's Gulliver's Travels, Ben Jonson's Walpole satirizes certain types of people. Dryden's Mac Flando represents a kind of pretentious poetaster and satirizes especially a rival author of his times, Thomas Shelley. The next term of our syllabus is essay. The word essay came from the old French word essai, which means trial. The Oxford Dictionary defines it as a short piece of writing on a particular subject. The French writer Michael D. Montaigne's Essays, which published in 1580, is the first example of this form. Francis Bacon, in the 16th century, inaugurated the English use of the term in his own essays. Most of them are short discussions such as of truth, of adversity, of marriage and the single life. The essay discusses the subject in an informal way, and it is often with the use of literary elements like stories, interesting case in points, wit, and irony. The essay can be written in formal and informal way style. It can be formal as well as informal. Formal, it can be impersonal, and informal means it can be personal. The tone of a formal essay is impersonal. The author of such an essay is usually well aware of the subject matter and illustrates it in an organized manner. It is addressed to an audience who already has prior knowledge about the subject, or for readers who want an in-depth understanding of it. In an informal essay, the tone is very personal and intimate. Here the author usually writes about everyday things rather than topics for which familiarity is expected. Abraham Collins was one of the forerunners of the English essay, who followed the Montaigne tradition of personal and spontaneous informality. He wrote on subjects such as freedom, solitude, greed, the brevity of life, and the uncertainty of riches. After him, Dryden consolidated the form of essay. His essay of dramatic poesy, which was published in 1668, was in a dialogue form. What we now understand in modern age, in present age, the modern form of essay was first popularized by Richard Steele and Joseph Addison. They wrote on subjects such as tombs in the Westminster Abbey, ladies' headdresses, the cries of London, and reflection of childhood. These found places in their periodicals Tatler and The Spectator. Daniel Defoe, his journalistic writings and reviews also popularized the genre of essay. In the 19th century, William Hazlitt, Thomas De Quincey, Charles Lamb, and later in the century, Robert Louis Stevenson took the English essay, especially personal essay, to new heights. American authors such as Ralph Waldo Emerson, Henry David Thoreau, and Mark Twain equally dabbled with it. Informal essays were brought back in the 20th century by Virginia Woolf, George Orwell, E.M. Forster, E.B. White, and Toni Morrison. That's all about today's lecture, today's period. We have come across two concepts, two terms of our syllabus: satire and essay. Rest we shall take in our next lecture. Thank you very much.